tonight, to drag the past out into the light. We're one, but we're not the same. We get to carry each other, carry each other.
Well, hello everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to the Chit Chat Cafe. This is what our third.
It is our third one, yes. Yeah. So we're just here for kind of half an hour chatting about all things mental health.
Yeah, lots of different things really. And tonight we were going to mostly introduce our mindfulness course. And I'm just clicking on to see the screen on one side so I can see any comments that you make. So anyone who's watching, please leave us a comment. Let us know, have you ever done mindfulness before? Do you know what it is? Do you enjoy it? If you do it, what do you find? Give us your feedback.
So how did you come across mindfulness, Sarah? What appealed to you about it?
Well, initially, when I first started trying to practice mindfulness, I found it really difficult doing like body scans and sitting still, because I'm quite a fidgety person. And I can be quite hyperactive at times. So I find it really, and I still find it difficult, but the more I practice, the easier it's got. But what I used to really like actually was being mindful when I was swimming.
All right, yeah.
I love swimming, and I love playing the hand drums. And playing the hand drums, I find I can get into a bit of a trance sometimes. And swimming, I felt like I could actually release my mind, could be quite mindful, because with swimming you're breathing at the right time, so you're breathing in sync with your body. Your arms are moving in sync with your breath, and there's something really relaxing about the water. Even if you're just in a pool, you're kind of in a different world. Yeah,
it's interesting, isn't it? So I know what you're saying. It's sometimes doing things mindfully can be, I mean, if you learning about mindfulness helps you to do that, though, doesn't it? It helps you to think, well, like walking more mindfully, or eating more mindfully, or even washing up more mindfully.
Yeah.
All those, you can practice it in lots of different ways that kind of suit you, I think.
Yeah, and I think it's, once you've got that concept of allowing yourself just to be present in that moment and notice what's going on around you, rather than being in your head thinking about the future or the past.
Yes.
And then you can actually place that skill in anything that you do. And for me, it's always been something around movement and sound as well. Later on, I started doing a bit of sound meditation, and I quite enjoy that. And as I say, found drumming, and the rhythm of the drums, the movement and the rhythm of the drums, that can be very, well, you almost get into a trance if you want to go that far. That sounds a bit hippie, doesn't it?
Well, I always remember years and years ago trying meditation, and being told, you have to empty your mind, and I just could not do it. I could not empty my mind. And so for years I said to myself, well, I was no good at it. Obviously I couldn't do meditation. And it was only, I kind of came back to it through yoga, probably. And that's the kind of movement again, isn't it? And then as I kind of discovered what mindfulness meant, I realized that I was doing a lot of it through yoga.
I think that's the thing. People sometimes feel like they can't do it because perhaps their mind wanders, or they're too fidgety, like me. But actually just noticing that means you're
Yes.
doing
That is mindfulness, isn't it? It's noticing all that. Yeah. Yes. I mean, I tend to do short sort of 10-minute meditations, which feels manageable to me, but I'm like you, I'm quite fidgety, and yeah. So I think it's better to do something short regularly, isn't it? Rather, you know, that's more beneficial than if you did it like once a week for an hour, you know.
Yeah, I think so too. Regular short practice.
Yeah. Or even just the breathing, isn't it? Just stopping and breathing wherever you are is really powerful.
It's
Yeah.
really powerful using that. I mean, in mindfulness, they call it that anchor of the breath, don't they? When you kind of
Yes.
anchor your emotions and how you're feeling onto your breath. And yeah, so powerful because that can be used in all sorts of different situations. I've sat in a meeting before about to give a presentation to a bunch of board members, absolutely bricking it. And and I just sat there really kind of covertly deep breathing, calmed myself down, and I ended up doing quite a good presentation, reasonable anyway. Yeah.
No, yeah, breath is, yeah.
So
I think the other thing that mindfulness has taught me is about your thoughts, you know, not believing your thoughts,
yeah.
but kind of you know, stepping back from them, observing them, that kind of thing.
So just don't want to interrupt you there, but I'll just let you know we've got I think we've got Sandy on the line. Cool.
Okay, great.
So, yes, let's say hello. So Sandy's going to be doing the mindfulness with us. Hiya. Just don't want to interrupt you there, but just let you know we've got I think you need to make sure you've got your recording switched off because we're getting an echo. Mindfulness with us. Hiya.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. How are you? How are you going?
Just one second. I'm gonna have to stop getting an echo.
Sorry. Say that again.
You need to switch off live stream.
Hello. How are you?
Okay, I'm just gonna message you. You need to switch off the live stream because we're getting the echo in the background. Technical hitch.
Yes.
I should have said that in my email. Probably my fault. Let me send her an email.
Has she switched off for a minute?
Hello.
Okay, I've switched off. That was a bit confusing.
Yeah.
I thought I could watch you and talk to you at the same time, but obviously not.
No.
Well, it's always the first time for these things. It's
That's
new,
right,
isn't it?
Yeah. It's all very it feels very experimental, all this.
Yes, yeah. Well, we need to do some mindfulness as a result of this.
Yes. Yeah.
Bring ourselves back to the present and stop panicking.
Yes. Take a deep breath collectively.
Sandy, we were just chatting about how we kind of came across mindfulness.
Yes.
How did you come across it, and what do you really like?
Yeah. I'm actually a yoga teacher, and I teach a lot of mindfulness in my yoga classes. So that forms a big part of my life, and you know, it really has been a lifesaver for me because it's one of those things that you can once you've practiced a lot of times, and it doesn't. You do need to practice it for it to become second nature to you. That's really, you need to put a little bit of effort into it, and you reap the rewards having done that. And you can just step back from situations, and you know, you can just think about what's going on, and you know, it's such a useful tool just to be able to think about what's going on in the present rather than taking yourself off somewhere else and getting all tangled up in, you know, what ifs and, you know, what might happen. and all of that sort of thing. So it really is a very useful tool to have in your, you know, in your toolbox to be able to use.
Yeah.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah, you're right about the practicing as well. I was just saying to Sarah,
Yeah.
it's, you know, it's better to do something short regularly
Yes.
than,
Yes.
you know, think, oh, if if I'm getting into trouble, then doing, you know, a whole morning of mindfulness or something is not.
Yes, and also it's not about whether you're doing it right or not. It's about doing it.
Yeah.
Because your mind is going to say to you, you're going to think to yourself, am I doing this right? Is this really what I'm meant to be doing? Because all of those things are going to creep into your mind. But then what needs to happen is for you to think to yourself, well, I've taken my mind off what I'm meant to be focusing on and focus back on that, whatever it is, whether it's, you know, whether it's your breath, whether it's looking, you know, whether it's focusing on something, maybe you know, the beauty of the trees. If your mind wanders away and you notice your mind wanders away, then you can bring it back again.
Yeah, that's right. We were just saying that when a lot of people, they think that they can't do mindfulness because their minds are wandering, but actually the fact that they're doing that is
That's part of it, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
That's all part of it, is noticing that that's happening, because we all do it. All our minds are a bit flitty, flyy all over the place. And it's just noticing that your mind has wandered away and you bring it back. So even if you know, sometimes you could be knitting or, you know, really engrossed in doing your knitting, and you might drop a stitch or, you know, and then you'll start to think, oh, what have I done here? And your focus could wander away, and then you just bring yourself back to what you need to focus on. It's just noticing that your mind wanders away, and that's really what mindfulness is, noticing that your mind wandered away and then bring it back to what you're focusing on.
And it's a really powerful tool to deal with worry, actually, you know, the worry when we're thinking all those what ifs.
Yeah, and it stops you from time traveling, because when you're worrying about things, you're either worrying about what's going to happen in the future, or you're going over and over what's happened in the past. But when you're being mindful about the present moment, you're not time traveling, you're actually in the present moment. So you're focusing on what's happening here and now, rather than going off at a tangent into the past or up into the future, worrying about something. It's a way of keeping yourself grounded in the present, to be in the present and not in the future or the past.
There's some lovely kind of short mindful exercises as well that I use sometimes if I'm kind of, you know, when you get really inside your head and there's all these things kind of buzzing for attention, and I'll sometimes do an exercise, you know, when you go through your senses, and and it just is so quick really to ground yourself. Once you kind of see, you can really take some shortcuts to kind of.
Yeah, absolutely. It can even just be, if you're sitting down, you can just place your feet on the floor and just notice your feet on the floor.
Yes.
Or else, you know, notice anything, you know, any touch sensations on your skin if you're outside, and you know, and you can notice a breeze on your face, or you notice some smell, any sort of smell that's in the air, or just a sound, and you just think, oh, I'm going to focus on, you know, if you focus on, you know, noticing all of those things, and nature is wonderful to bring you back to the present. Doing some, you know, just of noticing nature, just noticing birdsong. Yeah. Just noticing.
We've had some wonderful responses to our survey where people talked about kind of noticing small things in nature, like you said, the birds and the plants growing, and, you know, just the sun and that idea of connecting with nature.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think connecting with nature is so useful to us, and so, you know, we need to be close to nature. It's part of our, you know, it's part of us, isn't it? We're all part of one thing. We're all part of the, you know, the universe, and nature is part of us. So, you know, to be aware of what's, you know, what's there in nature and appreciate it is a, you know, it's a really, really lovely thing to do.
We do tend to forget it though, don't we? We have
We do, yeah. We all have such busy lives, and we, you know, going from one thing to the next. And, sometimes it's quite nice to stop and just notice something, just something small, just to reconnect with the world around you. Because you can be living in your mind, you can be really inside your mind a lot of the time, and you know, missing a lot. You know, a lot of people say to me when they've been practicing mindfulness, "Oh, I didn't notice the colours, and I didn't notice a lot of things." You know, they really enjoy looking.
Yes.
When you've been, you know, practicing some mindfulness, you can really look and see things in a different perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
As you can hear, everyone, we're all quite passionate about it, and find a lot of enjoyment and peace of mind from practicing these techniques. I can see a few of you are watching our live stream, and I'd be really interested to know what you think, whether you've tried mindfulness before, whether you're looking to give it a go. Is it something new? Leave us a message. That'd be really cool if you could let us know, and we can kind of go through those messages while we're live if we get them. There is a bit of a delay. There's about a 20-second delay on the live stream. And with this, in the same tone, I also want to plug the fact that we will be doing some mindfulness sessions coming up. The three of us are running a mindfulness series for the Mental Wealth Academy online summer, and we're going to be doing Mondays and Saturdays. We've allocated half an hour, but like we said, you know, short bursts, regular, is probably more beneficial than sitting down for an hour at a time. So we may not take the whole half an hour, but that's kind of like the time we've sort of allocated per session.
Yeah, we're kind of alternating, aren't we? But it is two sessions a week, Monday evenings and Saturday afternoons. So you can kind of, well, hopefully do it regularly, but you know, you can dip in and out as well if one is more convenient than others. So.
And
there's quite a wide range of different exercises, because we put together a really nice program of various exercises which you know, appeal to quite a number of people, I think.
that was cool the way that we did that, because basically, for those watching, earlier today, Sandy emailed me saying, what's going on? You know, I need to kind of sort this out. And I said, okay, well I'll put a document up on we've got this shared drive. Whack this document up. I put down a few things on my bits, and then I went back to it at the end of the day. It was all filled out. It was lovely. That's collaborative working for you. Making the online team.
Yeah, teamwork.
Yeah, it was cool. And we all come from slightly different backgrounds. So you get in our course like a real different variety. For myself, with sort of CBT therapy and an ACT background, acceptance commitment therapy. Carolyn with social work. You've done some mindfulness training, haven't you?
Yeah, I've done the mindfulness-based stress reduction training. I did that a few years ago, and I've just over the years run different mindfulness groups and things, often for my own benefit, I think. It was kind of practicing it, isn't it? And also the yoga. So I kind of come from that that background as well.
Yeah, yeah. And as you mentioned earlier, as a yoga teacher and hypnotherapist, so you've got 3.
Yes.
Or you were going to say something?
Well, I was just going to say, yes, I use a lot of mindfulness in my hypnotherapy as well. So yeah, so I'm just a mindfulness person.
So we have got another course starting next week, haven't we? The journal writing course.
Yes, yeah.
Just say something briefly about that.
Yeah. Should we say goodbye to Sandy first?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you.
Coming on.
Lovely to chat.
Thank you for joining us.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you for inviting me. Bye. Bye.
Bye. That was our first call-in test. How exciting.
Yes.
You guys at home can call in. We're going to have open opportunities for people to call in and join the discussion. And we thought it would be a bit like an old-fashioned radio show.
Mm.
So next week when we do this, we'll drop the details of how. Yeah, you wanted to. So we were going to introduce the writing course.
Oh, just because obviously we are advertising the whole Mental Wealth Academy, and each week through July and most July really, and at the beginning of August, there'll be a new course starting each week. So next week, and the mindfulness is going all the way through the whole program. But next week there's a 5-week journal writing course that's starting on next Tuesday, I think, the 30th. So that's 5 weeks of it's an online course with Maggie Sawkins, who's a local poet who's won all sorts of awards and very well known in the local area. So it's basically all I want to say is there aren't any pictures. I can't think of another way to say it. It's not kind of webinar or anything, is it? It's it's like an online course where you download the materials and work at your own pace. It's a lot of exercises.
It's on a system called Slack, which some people might use maybe for work or sort of project management type stuff. From what I understand, you can have pieces of work up on there and then people can comment and look at it. And the idea is to share some pieces of writing, to learn some techniques in writing, and to kind of collaborate in a forum page. I think that's sort of my understanding of it. But Maggie, she's really well known locally, and it looks like it's going to be a really good course.
Yeah. And I think that given the time that we've been through, it kind of adds an extra dimension, doesn't it, to journal writing? Actually kind of writing down some of our experiences, because it's such a strange time, really.
In 50 years' time, 100 years' time, they might want to look at it. We could bury them in some of those time capsule things.
Oh yes. They did lots of that in 2000, didn't they? Time capsules all over the place.
Revive the time capsule.
Yeah.
But don't know. But anyway, it will be. It's a really good time to do writing, like you say. I think for some people, creativity could be enhanced by what's going on at the moment, because there is new ground that we're covering here, isn't it? This is stuff is happening in the world that hasn't happened before. So that, in a positive way, might be quite inspiring.
Yeah, and writing's really good for your well-being as well. There's lots of research. If you handwrite, that's really good, apparently.
Oh, particularly handwriting, really?
Yeah, particularly handwriting. I mean, so it's not so, as well as the kind of, there's a well-known kind of therapeutic effect, isn't there, of actually writing down your thoughts and experiences, but the actual physical act of handwriting apparently connects in with certain parts of our brain and increases the sense of well-being.
That's really interesting.
Apparently, yeah. So there was some research done on it.
Yeah, and I've heard about like calligraphy writing, that sometimes that can be done quite within a mindfulness thing where you
All right.
sort of like,
That's very beautiful writing, isn't it? It's very stylized kind of writing. Yeah.
yeah, so I've heard of that being used in that way. But that's really interesting. There must be something to do with the movements,
Yeah.
connections.
Yeah.
Mind you, when you type, you're moving as well. So
Yeah.
well, makes yeah. I might have to look into this.
Okay. Right. So do you think, have we kind of come to the end of our half an hour, do you think?
Yeah. We haven't got any comments though. So one more
Oh,
round for comments. I know
yeah.
we've got a few people watching. Yeah. Give us
Yeah,
a
any
comment. We're
comments?
just leaving you a couple more seconds to do that because it'd be
Yeah.
really nice to have a bit of feedback. What do you think about what we've talked about today? Are
Yeah.
you willing to give mindfulness a bit of a chance? Have you tried it before? Maybe you're already really into it. It'll be nice to know. So yeah, please do leave us a message. We'll hang on for just a second to see if anyone does that.
I would say, I mean, I'm, you know, I don't think that you need to have had experience of mindfulness to join in our sessions.
No.
You know, they're going to be fairly basic, you know, mindful exercises, short meditations, you know, kind of, it's not like, I mean, you can do mindfulness to quite an in-depth level, but this is, it's really about kind of lifestyle mindfulness. So, but it's, you know, if you're accustomed to doing it and you like doing it, it's a good way just to join in with other people, I think. And if you're new to it, it's a great way just to find out a bit more about what it's all about.
Yeah, way of saying it. Yeah, because we're going to be delivering it on Zoom, so it will be an opportunity to come in and connect with people.
Yes.
In a virtual room. So yeah, it's more than just kind of watching a YouTube video, say. It's actually about connecting with people and joining at that time. And I think joining at a specific time, I don't know about other people, but personally I find that really helpful rather than trying to just do something that's online at any time of the day. We will be recording the sessions though, and we will put them up in the little secure website where you can log in. So everyone who's signed up to the course within that group can log in and view it afterwards. I'll put them up probably about a week after, so a week delay, and then it will be in there. Okay, well, shall we leave it there then?
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a good chit chat.
Yeah.
Joining me?
Yeah. Nice to talk to Sandy as well.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. Okay, so when's our next one?
Shall I pull my diary up?
I think it'd be next Wednesday, won't it? Next Wednesday morning?
Yeah, 10:30.
Yeah, so
Wednesday the 1st.
yeah. Oh, 1st of July. Right. Gosh.
So we'll have to do that thing where you punch the 1st of the month or something. How do you do that virtually?
No, you can't, can you? I'm quite relieved about that, to be honest. I don't like it very much.
I'm sure I can work out some way.
Okay. All right. Well, bye-bye, everybody. And
Good night, everyone.
good night.